Natsukis, it's your bestie Summer, and I technically probably totally shouldn't be recording this, but whatever, who cares? I'm totally not, I totally didn't have a fever yesterday, and I totally don't still have a little bit of a fever today, but I'm fine. We're fine. It's just a bit of reading. But anyway, today I am actually feeling a lot better than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I had a pounding headache. I was probably over 100 degrees, but I don't actually know because we lost our thermometer. My rat scratched me, so that's fun, but I mean, it's the side effects of having a rat, but I'm fine, we're fine. I totally don't have to do so much stuff today that I don't want to do, like school and laundry and more school. But I mean, later I'm gonna watch a show with mom and a movie with my family, so, that's fun. But getting out of my life, we are going to be having a fun time with this chapter, with this part of this chapter, just because of course we are. It's amazing. It's an amazing fic. But anyways, this is part 4, chapter 2 of Press Heart to Subscribe, a DPXDC podfic, written by die_Earl Collagen, and read by Summer Audio. Enjoy! Man, I love Jackbox. They're such a fun party game. It's nice playing with you guys, because then we all have a full group and we get some audience participation. I would try to play this with some friends and my sister back in high school, but it wasn't as fun since there were only 4 of us. Anywho, Danny said, trailing off, I think you all can see this wonderful Nightwing hoodie that I'm wearing. You guys know what that means, right? We're due to have a hero hour today, and it's starting now. Danny clicked a button on his stream deck, letting the music play and the banners change to indicate that he was starting his most popular stream segment. Hype. Yes, let's get hyped, Danny said with a smile, dancing along with music. Good question, Jester Laverer 92. We're going to be talking about soups and the super family today. They're right across the bay in Metropolis, so, I can't not talk about them. Plus, Soups is an alien. I fucking love aliens. No, get dem knights. I'm not going to get into a Gotham versus Metropolis fight. Besides, we all know who would win anyway. Danny grinned. I am quite biased, though. We'll totally admit that. Anywho, the Supers, Superman himself, has been around longer than I've been alive. I'm pretty sure. Might need to double check the year. Then came Superboy 1 and later Superboy 2. Supergirl, Shiny, Steel Superman. I know there are more, but to be honest, I don't keep track of them. I know I've said this before, but I don't really know why you guys like this so much. It's just me spouting off about heroes for a bit. Well, who am I to ignore my viewers? So, due to my whole love of space thing, I love aliens. So, when I was a kid, I read every article I could on the man, because he was an alien. And when I found out there were more, Danny lifted his hands excitedly and tried to spin in his chair. Keyword there was tried. The cord on his headphones yanked him back. Damn it, I always forget about that. You'd think I'd remember after doing this for, oh wow, has it really been almost a year? Danny glanced at the chat before chuckling. Yeah, I'm really all over the place today. It's just one of those days. What were we talking about? The supers, right. So the first one, Superman, has been around longer than I have. We were told that he was the last one, but then more kept coming out of the woodworks. So, sure, one of them could be a Soup's kid, but I'm willing to bet that some of them are clones. Now, hear me out, Danny said, holding his hands up and placating wait gesture. Danny paused, letting the chat freak out about the whole cloning thing. Okay, so think about it. With how young Soups looks, do you really think he has a kid that young? Superman, the big blue Boy Scout, him getting someone pregnant when he was a teenager does not sound like something he would do. I mean, he totally could have a mask and just having a stellar reputation. I don't think that's the case, though. If you listen to Superman's critics, it's mainly about how powerful he is, and how often he ends up getting controlled. Nothing about him being a terrible person. That is why I'm partial to the clone theory. Also, if Star Trek taught me anything, it's that hybrids between species are hard to make. Well, that and homoeroticism, Danny said with a snicker. Who am I talking about as the clone hybrid people? Oh, the Superboys. Their age and how much they look like Superman makes me think that. As for the whole hybrid thing, they don't really have all the same powers as Soups. At least, I don't think they do, or it doesn't seem like it. As for the other two I mentioned, Steel is clearly some sort of Kryptonian automaton, one that protects, kind of like a golem from Myth. Now, Supergirl, I think she's a full clone, like a full alien, not a hybrid. Obviously, there's clearly some physical differences, but maybe that's just how female Kryptonians look. You know how on Earth there are color differences in birds? Peacocks are what's coming to mind. Yes, Supergirl is female, but there can be mistakes when cloning. Not that I'm saying she's a mistake, just that it might explain why she appears to be female and Superman is not. But then again, we have no idea if Kryptonians fit our Earth gender norms. Not only that, but I think we don't even understand our own that much. Gender is just so complicated. And I'm willing to believe people in whatever they say they are, Danny mused, looking pensively at Orion's cat bed. Oh no, look at me getting carried away again. Let's talk about some of their recent exploits, shall we? Danny and Red_Ghoul began to call each other using Discord frequently. Red had a lot of meetings, but they were often able to chat for around 30 to 40 minutes a day. That didn't include all of the texting they did too. Red had finally sent Danny a picture of his Great Dane and his black and white tuxedo cat, named Titus and Alfred respectively. Both of the animals were adorable. Red had started sending him pictures of his paintings as well. They were incredible. Danny gushed over each and every one that he was sent. Danny's first year of streaming came and went, as did his 19th birthday. He felt a little bad about misleading Red_Ghoul into thinking that he had already been 19. He lied slightly on his page on Twitter. He didn't want to reveal too much about himself, but he also didn't want to make elaborate lies. It was just easier to say that he was 1 year older than he was. Red_Ghoul was 20 now. His birthday had passed sometime in spring, the other man being vague about when it was. He also no longer needed the money as deliberately. Undead Nebula was starting to take off, and he had been able to quit his job at Batburger. That had been a fantastic day. He'd also obtained his GED. Sam and Tucker had arrived in Gotham, too. It had been so wonderful to see his friends again. They'd asked him about Red_Ghoul. His blush and overenthusiastic answer had been all the confirmation that they'd needed that Danny was falling for his mysterious sugar daddy. It felt weird to call Red Ghoul that. The other man was still donating far, far too much money to Danny. Much to Danny's amusement and embarrassment, the higher donations always came when he was wearing something Robin-themed. Reassuringly, Tucker had gone and investigated Red. Red was more than likely Damian Wayne, based on the account used to donate money to Danny, which meant that everything Red, Damian, had told him about himself was true. The man was 20. He was a ridiculously rich executive, CEO of Wayne Enterprise, to be exact, Damian's father's company. Wayne Enterprise's donations to animal shelters had increased nearly tenfold after Damian had been found and added to Bruce Wayne's list of children. There were also a multitude of programs created to help animals and to provide free veterinary care for those who could not afford it, all clearly influenced or created by Damian. Danny felt a bit strange, knowing who Red_Ghoul was. Granted, they didn't know for sure, but Red_Ghoul was either Damian Wayne himself or a really, really good catfish. Danny knew what he was hoping for. Everything was going incredibly well for Danny. He could hardly believe it. He kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. He had a feeling it would be coming soon. National Coming Out Day. He'd come out to his friends and family. Jack and Maddie had been accepting of his sexuality, but not his liminalness. Red_Ghoul would be accepting, probably. His viewers, who knows? They might revolt. While society was becoming more and more accepting of those in the LGBTQ community, some identities were still not as accepted, even within the community. Danny sighed. Whatever. He didn't want to hide who he was anymore. And maybe this would help him take a leap of faith when it came to Red Ghoul. Or not. It could all blow up in his face. Undead Nebula. Hey, Red. Undead Nebula. So, Undead Nebula, I'm gonna be coming on stream for National Coming Out Day. Undead Nebula. Just an FYI. Red_Ghoul. Okay. I support you in this endeavor. Undead Nebula. Thanks. Undead Nebula. I'm just nervous. Red_Ghoul. There's no need to be. Your sister accepts you, as do your friends. Undead Nebula. Not all of them. Red_Ghoul. Which one does not accept you? I will find them and convince them otherwise. Undead Nebula. LOL. Undead Nebula. It's you, you dork. Undead Nebula. You're my friend. Undead Nebula. And you don't know yet. Undead Nebula. So there's no way for you to know and accept me yet. Red_Ghoul. Ah, well played. Red_Ghoul. You could tell me now. Undead Nebula. Nah. Undead Nebula. More fun if you find out with the rest of the stream. Red_Ghoul. Very well. Undead Nebula. I know I usually announce stuff at the beginning of the stream. Undead Nebula. but I think I'm gonna do it at the end. Undead Nebula, just in case. Red_ghoul. That sounds wise. Red_ghoul. Well, no matter what you come out as, I support you. Undead Nebula. LOL. Undead Nebula. Thank you. Undead Nebula. You're a good friend. Undead Nebula. I really appreciate you. Undead Nebula. After the stream, can we talk for a bit? Red_ghoul. Of course. You know I enjoy speaking with you. Thanks everyone and for coming and watching. I had a lot of fun. I know I'm stretching the rules a bit by playing Pokemon on First and Friday, but I really wanted to play some before the new game comes out. Aw, thank you, Okapi27. I'm glad that you agree Pokemon totally counts. Oh, before I sign off, there was one last thing I wanted to announce. Danny took a deep breath. He prepared extra for today. He was wearing his comfiest Robin hoodie with the First and Friday cat ears. He didn't usually wear makeup on his Friday streams, but Ancients he needed some extra confidence. So he put on some eyeliner and mascara, with just a touch of glitter, because why the fuck not? As some of you may know, today is National Coming Out Day, Danny said with false cheer. Hopefully they wouldn't notice how nervous he was. As expected, chat went nuts. I know, I've gotten a couple questions about my sexuality over the past year or so, but I've never really answered them. I'm out to pretty much everyone in my life, so this National Coming Out Day, I figured I'd come out to the last people who didn't know, and to you, my stream. So, who here is aware of asexuality? It's a spectrum, and I'm on it. I'm demisexual. Denny rushed out. He awkwardly did some jazz hands, not fully sure what to do. What is demisexuality? Chat is flying by so fast, but I bet that's what some of you are asking. Well, I need emotional connections with someone before I feel sexually attracted to them. Denny could feel himself sweating. Time to explain the romance part, then bring it home and end the stream. I'm panromantic, which means in terms of romantic attraction, I am attracted to people regardless of their gender. Danny recited from memory. The last week of October is actually Asexuality Awareness Week. Considering today is October 11th, it's coming up soon. Denny ignored the majority of questions being sent in the chat. Time to end the stream. So now you know, there are a couple other creators out there on the Ace spectrum too. Jaden Animations has a really cool video explaining it all. You should go check it out, especially since I'm probably doing a terrible job explaining. Thanks again to everyone for coming and hanging out. See you soon. Bye! Denny waved, a fake smile on his face before he clicked the button to bring up the stream ending screen. He sighed and collapsed back onto his chair. Time to talk to his sister, call Sam, Tucker, and Red, and ignore the internet for the next couple of days. His sister and friends had all watched the stream. They congratulated him on coming out. Tucker was keeping a close eye on social media, Sam and Jazz keeping an eye on the Discord. They definitely had to ban a few people. The initial reaction seemed to be confusion, which wasn't surprising. Demisexual wasn't really that well known. It would take a few more days before the true reaction to his coming out would be. Danny sighed and gave himself a few minutes to calm down, drinking his water and stretching his legs. Then he hopped into a call with red_ghoul. Hey, Red. Nebula, congratulations on coming out. Danny laughed, his stomach twisting with nerves. Thanks. It was really scary. I don't doubt it. However, it is over. You can relax now, came Red's soothing voice. Yeah, relax. What is wrong? Well, what do you think of my sexuality? Danny asked hesitantly. He knew there was a vulnerability to his voice that he couldn't hide. I will admit that I am lacking knowledge when it comes to asexuality and the sexual spectrum. You did explain demisexual well, in my opinion. I think it made sense. I have found that some of my siblings are perfectly capable of having relationships with someone immediately after meeting them. Myself and the rest of my siblings are not like that. We prefer to know our partner before taking them to bed, if you will. If I am understanding correctly, there is a difference. Well, for myself and my siblings, it is a preference. For you, it is a need to have an emotional connection, Red asked. Danny gulped. Yep, Red Ghoul understood. He was such a smart cookie. Okay, you can do this, Danny. Yeah, you pretty much got it. It's also that I don't feel sexual attraction to people before establishing that emotional connection. Danny laughed awkwardly. In high school, I was worried that I wasn't normal since I wasn't feeling the same desires that my best friends feel. You know, my it friend. So I just copied him when it came to having crushes on girls. He also tended to like girls out of our league, so there never really was a chance of them liking me back. And well, the few dates I did go on never went too far, in high school at least. No need for Danny to mention that he was a high school dropout, or that his friend Sam, known to Red as Chaos, was the last long-term relationship that he had. I appreciate the explanation. So, Red. Yes, I'd say we're pretty good friends now. I would like to think that. I was wondering. Danny hedged. Yes. I was wondering if you were potentially interested. Come on, Danny, it's not that hard. Just ask him to be your internet boyfriend or something. And knowing more about each other. Shit, nice going, Danny. I am a very private person. That being said, we have been in correspondence for over a year. I suppose we could begin to reveal more about ourselves to each other. Yeah, I would love to meet you in person one day. Oh my god, Danny, way to be pretty obvious with your crush. That would be nice. They lapsed into silence. Congratulations again on coming out and a successful stream, Nebula. Danny, it's Danny. And thanks. Good night, Red. Damien. Good night, Danny. With that, red_ghoul, aka Damien, left the call. Damien, Danny whispered to himself. Well, he may not have ended up confessing, but at least he managed to confirm who his crush was on. Sam and Jazz would insist it wasn't an actual confirmation, that it could still be a catfish. But Danny had expressed wanting to meet one day, and Red, Damien, had been receptive. That would be nice. Danny got up and made his way to his bed, flopping back onto it. He sighed. Damien. What a nice name. It suits him, he whispered to himself, his cheeks burning. He ignored it, rolling onto his side and hugging his pillow, smashing his face into it. Ancients, he hadn't even met Damien yet. He was already crushing on him. Hard. He was so screwed. Damien had been surprisingly really nice these past couple of months. He was actually smiling more, really relaxed, and overall just happier. Dick figured it had something to do with whoever he was constantly texting. He'd come once to Wayne Enterprise to surprise Damien by going out to lunch. He was really proud of Damien and how he'd proven that he was more than capable of helping run Wayne Enterprise. To his surprise, Damien had some headphones in and was talking to someone, a large grin on his face. It clearly wasn't for work, and Damien was telling whoever was on the other end how one of his brothers, Jason, would pick up Alfred the cat and dance with him when no one was around, and how Damien had caught him. It was a cute story. All signs pointed to Damien having a boyfriend. His first. Sure, Damien had gone out on a few dates, but they generally hadn't really gone anywhere. Whoever this person was, Damien was falling hard. He doubted his little brother realized it. Damien had unfortunately inherited Bruce's inability to process emotions like a normal person. Both father and son were rather emotionally stunted. Thankfully, Damien wasn't as bad as his father, but that was only due to Dick's own influence. It would probably take a couple of hints and some nudging before Damien realized he was in love with whoever it was. Which is why he'd wait till a night where Robin and Nightwing patrolled together. If the night was quiet, they could go out for ice cream, and Dick could ask about Damien's newest friend. It was a perfect plan. The so-called perfect plan was falling apart. There was a shootout happening over in Crime Alley between two rival gangs. Unfortunately, Jason was off on a mission. Dick was not going to get a chance to talk to his baby brother. Not how he planned. Maybe they could talk once they got to the Batcave. Only problem with that would be that the rest of the family would hear, and Damien wouldn't appreciate that. Dick growled in frustration, punching a bit harder than normal. "Grumpy much?" teased Steph as she took down a few more gang members. "Just," Dick said as he knocked two more out with his eskrima sticks. "Frustrated. Wanted to have a quiet patrol with Robin and get some ice cream after." "There's no reason we still cannot, Nightwing," came Damien's voice from his right. "It really depends on if no one gets hurt," gripped Dick. The three of them now hiding behind some shipping container as the gang began to open fire. As they watched, Red Robin and Batgirl swooped down from atop the warehouse and took out the goons with guns. The way clear, Dick gave the signal and the three left their hiding place and rushed in. At this point, with the majority of the family here, they took down the members of the warring gangs. "See, we're all good now. You two can go off and get ice cream, no problem," Stephanie said. "Not until everyone's been picked up by Gotham PD. Then you can resume your patrols," Bruce reminded them. "Spoil sport. Let Wing talk to his baby brother. We've got it here. They don't need all of us," Steph pouted. "I agree. They are not necessary here at the moment. Besides, Nightwing has pressing things to ask Robin about, don't you? Tim gave Dick a pointed look. Tim had a sharp eye. He'd likely also noted Damien's change in behavior and assumed Dick was the best person to talk to the youngest about it. Ah, Timmy. Always a planner and a schemer. Yup, sure do. Bruce hummed. Very well. Don't go too far. We may still need your help. Roger that. Come on, baby bat. Ice cream. Damien glanced between Bruce and Dick before deciding to trail off after his eldest brother. There was a decent vegan ice cream place a couple of blocks away, just outside of Crime Alley. Damien should like it. Dick paid, in cash of course, for their ice cream, and they sat on rooftops side by side eating. It was perhaps a bit chilly for such a cold treat, but no matter. So, I see you've been texting on your phone a lot, Dick tried to remark casually. Even through the domino mask, Dick could tell Damien was giving him an incredulous look. That is what you wanted to ask me about? You deem my texting habits worthy enough to distract us from a mission? Dick couldn't help his grimace. Well, it's partially about your texting habits. It's also about the phone calls you've been making and how you're clearly happier, which is a really good thing. I'm just wondering, what's the cause for this change? Dick leaned forward a bit so he could have a clearer look at Damien's face. Was that? Oh, that definitely was a blush on Damien's face. It is none of your business, retorted Damien without any real heat. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you've got a boyfriend. You're acting pretty similar to how Timbo did when he started first dating Connor, Dick said, trailing off. He kept his eyes on his little brother, trying to gauge his reaction. Damien continued eating his ice cream in silence, ignoring the older man. Dick let the silence stretch, hoping he could wait him out. His name is Danny. We're not boyfriends, Damien eventually replied. But you wanna be? Dick asked gently. I think I would like the change to try, to see if we could be something. What's stopping you? Damien snorted. What isn't? I've only seen part of his face and know his first name. He knows my name, but little else about me. We have discussed possibly meeting in the future, as friends. I know he lives in Gotham. Drake met him, saved him from a scarecrow attack a few months ago. He, of course, knows nothing of my double life, or that I am Damian Wayne. Yeah, that's a lot to keep secret. I can't say I've ever met someone I became friends with online in person. Tim or Steph might give you better advice. Dick leaned back a bit, looking up at the clouds-covered night sky. Maybe baby steps. Show your face, see how that goes, then introduce them to the fact that you're Damian Wayne? Damien sighed. That is my current plan, Grayson. Well, let me know if you need any help or advice. I have a lot of dating experience. I am well aware of that. So, Tim said, leaning against the doorframe of the kitchen as Dick ate his cereal. What did Damien say? Does he have a boyfriend? Not exactly. Tim raised an eyebrow. Dick sighed, putting his spoon down for the inevitable conversation. There is a boy he likes, but it's online, so this boy doesn't even know that they're living in the same city, or that Damien is, well, Damian Wayne. Not only that, but they haven't really seen what each other looks like. Interesting. Babs and I will have to take a look into that, Tim muttered to himself. Hey, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Damien actually really likes this boy, Danny. As much as I want to meddle and push them together, 'cause it's clear this kid makes Baby Bat happy, I don't want to potentially ruin it either. He's been so happy lately. We'll be discreet. Tim, I still think this is a bad idea. Babs is one of the best hackers in the planet. I'm not far behind her. There is no way we'll get noticed. Tim dismissed Dick's concerns with a wave of his hand. Standing up, Tim left the kitchen, leaving Dick alone with his bowl of cereal. He took a bite. Great, they were soggy now. Dick glumly finished the bowl. Oh, this was priceless. Damien was head over heels for a Twitch streamer. And not just any old Twitch streamer. The one that had gone kind of viral over a year ago with his rant about Robin. Steph had told Tim that she'd shown it to him. Tim had never imagined in his wildest dreams that not only would Damien start watching the streamer, but become fairly infamous on the channel for just dropping massive donations, as well as being obsessed with Undead Nebula's cat, Orion, which apparently Damien had a hand in helping the streamer get. Humming happily to himself, he attempted to dig a bit more into exactly who Undead Nebula was. Tim's brow began to furrow as he found himself faced with some frankly impressive security. Undead Nebula's IP flitted around between different countries and VPNs, making it very difficult to track. This would actually take some effort to locate the streamer. What in the world did this small-time streamer have to hide? A few minutes later, Tim stared at his screen, annoyed. All that work just to confirm that Undead Nebula was in Gotham. Listen, Dick could tell him that, but people lied on the internet all the time. It was best to double check. Undead Nebula being in Gotham was potentially good news for Damie. However, this just made Tim a bit suspicious. A streamer who takes interest in Robin moved to Gotham recently and had impressive cybersecurity. It all could be a coincidence, but what if it wasn't? Should he do it? Should he try to hack Damien's Discord chat with Nebula and see if he could get more information that way? No, he'd try to hack into Twitch first. Get the information there before he potentially invaded Damien's privacy. It shouldn't be that difficult. That being said, he thought about tracking down Nebula's IP. Who knows what might be in store for him. Getting the information turned out to be surprisingly easy. There were a few surprises, though. Tracing the bank information had once again sent him on a wild goose chase. There was also indications that someone else had hacked into Undead Nebula's Twitch data. Granted, the streamer was starting to develop a following, but he didn't think there were enough to warrant someone else looking into him. This was all really strange. He probably should check Discord as well, just in case, to see if that had been hacked by someone else as well. He wouldn't look into their conversations. Biting his lip, Tim broke through Discord's firewalls. He knew what Undead Nebula's ID number was, so he used that to find the account. Again, there were traces that this had been hacked. It looked almost like Tim's blood ran cold. He switched back to Twitch and checked there again. The same. The person who had hacked into Undead Nebula's Twitch and Discord had merely done so to use that as a starting point to find Damie's red_ghoul accounts and hack into them. Tim grimaced. Whoever it was now knew that red_ghoul was Damian Wayne. Fuck. It wasn't the end of the world, since they didn't know Damian was Robin, but certainly wasn't great. Damn it. They really should have had that internet security conversation with Damian years ago. And that was part 4, chapter 2 of Press Hard to Subscribe, a DPXDC podfic written by die_Earl Collagen 6083 and read by Summer Audio. Fun fact, I started recording this on Monday, and I'm finishing recording this at 3:57 a.m. Saturday. But we're gonna go to chapter 3 next part, okay, and they're gonna meet soon. Ooh, and wasn't that cliffhanger amazing? Don't you guys just love being left on a cliffhanger for an entire week? I know, it's just amazing. You guys are gonna have to wait. Ooh, you're gonna have to wait, and I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow to edit, because I have a thing where I have to sleep now because it's almost 4 a.m. No, but oh my god, yeah. Okay, so I'm growing this little fungus thing. I think it's called what's it called? Shit. It's a type of fungus. It's really cool. I'm growing it and I make kombucha. A scoby. I'm growing a scoby. It's my baby, my love. I am very attached to it now. I don't know why I'm so attached to this thing. Me and one of my friends, she found it, because I forgot to throw away a kombucha bottle that had an inch of kombucha left in it, because I forgot to throw it away. So my neglect gave me a child. But yeah, so we decided to put that in a jar of tea, and it grew, and it had another one, so I have more children now. So now I have 2 of them, and because I have 2 of them, I poured that into another jar, and I put more tea in with those 2 scobies, and so now they should grow a 3rd one, and I have kombucha. So yeah, just fun little how to make kombucha fact right there. I know that's probably gonna gross some of you guys out, because it's grossed a lot of my friends out. They're all like, ew, you have a fungus? Ew, you have a pet a pet mushroom thing, which yeah, I do. You got a problem with it? Come talk to me. You wouldn't say it to my face. Well, they did say it to my face, but still, shush. Also, I was making pins tonight. I'll probably post about it in my community section, because I have a bunch. And I made them out of hot glue and paper and safety pins. But I'll post a picture of each of them on my community, but I have a rainbow, and I have a little red one with a star, and I have a failed by one. It's failed because the colors are messed up, but it's still pretty. And then I have a spiral one. The spiral one I made for Kate, for a specific manga series that she likes. And I made a Sanity Falls one, so that's amazing. And then I made a trans one that says there is still time, based on a movie that got popular a while ago that I really loved. And then I also painted on my headphones. Sorry, I'm lore dumping on you. I had the funnest time tonight, so I painted on my headphones, and it's like a star. And I also painted on my Converse, but I'll probably post a picture of all of them because I really love them. They're all my children. And that's probably everything. But yeah, this chapter was really fun. I bet it was suspenseful. It didn't have as much of the little like channel community stuff like on Danny's like Twitch channel, but I still really enjoyed it. It was still really fun. I loved the like talking. I love how Dick was like, ooh, you got a boyfriend, and how Tim was like, so does he have a boyfriend, and then immediately was like suspicious of this dude. And how like he was like finding Tucker's like leftover trail from making sure that Damien wasn't a threat. So I love it when those two like get like backwards, like hoping the other one isn't a threat. It's like amazing. I love those fics. I have a one-shot, which is ready. I don't know when it's gonna come out because I still have to make the art for it, and I really don't know what to make for it. But it's a one-shot. It's really amazing. You guys are gonna love it. But yeah, that's probably anything. I've been ranting for like a really long time now, like probably like 3 minutes now. Like, wow, no, I've been ranting for way longer than that. I'm gonna get done now. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.